It's Monday night, and you know what that means. Welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show, where A2theKania is running wild, brother. That was my Hulk Hogan impression.
Love it. That's actually so much more relevant now. We know the Hulk Hogan is going to be hosting Wrestlemania along with Titus O'Neil.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Definitely not a PR stunt or not on that one.
Definitely not a PR stunt. Definitely not Hulk being like, look, I'm not racist.
If you look at the graphics, I think it might actually say that at the bottom. Your hosts. Definitely not a PR stunt. But yes, I am Carl.
What you gonna do underneath? Like, well, nothing, Hulk, actually. Nothing.
What you gonna do? Yeah, nothing. But I'm Carl, joined, as always, by the one and only Anthony. And we are kicking off, as we always do, because we like to kick off. But we're also kicking off with the first segment of the week, which is the Ringside Report. And Anthony, do you want to run down them headlines?
You're goddamn right to do, Carl. So, this week in the Ringside Report, we have Charlotte Flair being removed from all WrestleMania promotion graphics amidst Andrade release. Interesting stuff.
Just like easily came off the tongue, that one, didn't it?
I was winging it halfway through, I'll be honest, but I got there. So I shouldn't laugh. The next one, bit of sad news, unfortunately. Randy Orton's uncle, Barry Orton, sadly passed away at the age of 62. We'll talk a bit more on that shortly. Obviously, part of that sort of wrestling legacy. I don't know if he's a particularly common name for a lot of people, but it was in WWF some years ago. We have Kurt Angle talking on the possibility of wrestling for AEW. We have Kylie Rae potentially returning to wrestling. Who knows? We have one Jack Evans receiving some backstage heat at AEW. We have Eric Bischoff commenting on why Golberg is still in WWE, and the answer will not surprise you. We have Charley Caruso is currently off TV due to some backstage heat. We have, in very, very British wrestling news, Carl, this is not really going to land very well with our American audience, but Carol Vordeman has vowed to mud wrestle Suzanna Reid.
Who is mud wrestling? Who?
Yeah. Daytime British TV, guys. Look it up.
Mm-hmm.
We have one Chris Masters, or more recently known as Chris Adonis, is out to prove that he's more than just a body guy.
He has a head too, damn it.
And lastly, we have Booker T making some comments on AEW becoming WCW. All that coming up right now.
Shucky ducky, quack quack, Booker. Shucky ducky. But no, it is my. It's me. Am I the first one? I am the first one. Oh my. And the first one we're going to talk about is all to do with Ms. Charlotte Flair. So, as any of you who pay attention to the media that surrounds the WWE, Charlotte Flair was featured quite heavily on the WrestleMania promotional materials. So, everything on social, banners, everywhere. Billboards, probably.
WWE knows the formula. They know that unless Charlotte's on there, we're not going to be interested.
Yeah, the more places we can put Charlotte, I wouldn't be surprised. It reminds me of that old Scrubs episode where they just had Turk in there twice, to have some racial diversity. That's the Charlotte approach in WWE. But I'm honestly surprised they haven't done that yet. But she was featured quite heavily across a lot of the promotional materials. So it was like, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Sasha, Edge, Charlotte, Bad Bunny, Bianca, even Damian Priest has made his way on there quite a bit. But notably, Charlotte has been removed from that promotional material. So as tickets were due to go on sale, she was gone from all promotional activity. And this happens to coincide with some stuff that was happening with Andrade. So he posted...
Which in itself is news. That's some news.
Yes, that is some news. So for anyone who doesn't know, Charlotte and Andrade are doing it. No, they're a couple.
And by doing it, we mean in a committed relationship.
Of course. But yeah, so Andrade made a couple of tweets and comments over the last week or two, being notably unhappy with his position in WWE. He asked for his release, which was denied initially, and so. Yeah, he wasn't very happy.
I've heard that Randy Orton's extremely happy with his position in WWE at the moment.
Blissful.
That's my first Fastlane joke of the night, guys.
Oh, yeah. But no, so since then, Andrade has actually been granted his release, so he is no longer with the WWE. But interesting timing for Charlotte to suddenly be removed from that promotional graphic. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, the Raw Women's Championship match hasn't been booked yet for WrestleMania, so maybe they don't know what they're going to do with it, yada, yada, yada.
They knew. That's bullshit. They knew. They were pushing it so heavily the last few weeks that they knew exactly what they were doing. Like, this might have changed their plans a little bit, but they wanted Charlotte in that main event, and they knew, not main event, sorry, women's main event. I mean, no disrespect when I say that, but they're not going to put them at the top of the card because it's WWE. But yeah,
I mean, to be fair, they might put Bianca and Sasha at the top of one of the nights.
It's very possible. It's getting a lot of traction, that match, and I don't think WWE is too naive to realise that, to be fair. So you have a good point.
But the Raw Women's Championship is pretty much as bad as the 24/7 title at this point. I don't
think Vince knows who's holding the belt at the minute.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be fair. Is it blonde number 1 or blonde number 3? Oh, it's Asian girl. Is it Kairi Sane? I don't know. That's Vince. But yeah, so I don't know. Is it just circumstances happen to have aligned this way, or do you think could there be some tension there with Charlotte as well? So obviously, if Andrade has gone public with his unhappiness, and maybe I think Charlotte has even come out and said that she has tried to pitch storylines that would have her and Andrade together on screen, and they've all been kind of binned basically. So
good. Like, all due respect to Charlotte, but nobody wants to see that. Let's be honest. Do you want Becky Lynch to come back and it be all about being in a relationship with Seth, or do you want her to have her own storylines and be a badass?
Yeah, definitely. But to be fair, I don't think anybody really cares about Charlotte in any storylines going. To be fair, I don't.
I know, but my point being, like, this, putting them into a storyline where they're an annoying couple instead of just one annoying individual isn't going to help. Like. I appreciate that she's got the throw to pitch ideas, but I can see why they've been the idea too.
Yeah, no, me too. But interesting, because obviously he's now been released, and the fact that she was pulled from the promotional activity, does that mean there's some unrest there? Could we even see Charlotte? What's she going to put first, her WWE career or love? Find out next week. I don't know.
I love it. But no, it's one of them. Like, she's weirdly the polar opposite to Andrade. She's at such a favourable position in WWE. Mm-hmm. She's almost Golberg level, just rocking up and being like, I'm next. So, she can't complain about her position in WWE, but like you say, can you separate that feeling knowing that he's left and so unhappy, and obviously she's emotionally invested in that side?
I know someone else who can't complain about their position in WWE, Randy Orton.
That's a joke too of the night, guys.
But yeah, so that was the first one. Does it mean there's any issues there with Charlotte and WWE, or why is she no longer on the promotional material? Who knows? But more may rear its ugly head.
Yeah. I love the little hint there. Little Rhea Ripley. Hey, I see what you're doing. Hey,
I'm not saying she's ugly there, by the way, but. Just
no,
rear it up.
I don't think you were going for a reference at all. I was just trying to bring it around to that.
Yeah, I wasn't. I tried to make it like I was to be clever, but it's not clever. It's not clever.
So,
speaking of not clever.
Now, moving on to the next one, a little bit of sad news, and there's not a lot we can say about this, but more just to sort of acknowledge it, and that is Barry Orton has sadly passed away at the age of 62 now. He is obviously the brother of the Cowboy Bob Orton, and obviously Bob Orton Sr. is his father, so he's part of that wrestling legacy, and he had wrestled in WWE, I want to say in the 90s, Carl, you're probably more aware of this than I
think it was the 80s. Yeah,
I think to be honest, he did 80s, and then because I know he had some turbulent times, so he spent some time in prison, didn't he? And I think he did some work in the early 90s as well. He's not done a lot of work for WWE, but has worked in WWE. Certainly a name that a lot of people know if they're huge wrestling fans, and obviously big fans of the Orton family. But sad news nonetheless. So it's not a particularly lengthy article, but it's just to sort of acknowledge and offer our sort of condolences or our thoughts, really.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, Randy was really close with him as well. Obviously, being his uncle and stuff, and He's had a really interesting run, to be honest with you. Barry Orton. He was part of the kind of sexual misconduct scandal that plagued the WWF in the late 80s, I think it was, or the very early 90s. He
I
said
think this
a lot
is
of
a large
stuff.
part of the reason that he went with WWE as a company all that much. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, he was quite outspoken about it, and he felt he'd been blackballed and stuff off the back of it, and for trying to kind of speak out on the stuff he felt that happened in the WWE locker rooms, and obviously on the road as well with other wrestlers who were trying to get him to proposition him to do certain things. So he's obviously had a very turbulent time in the wrestling business, and it's a shame really being part of such a multi-generational wrestling family for him to. Obviously have had that kind of bad of a run, and way too young, way too soon for him to have passed. And massive condolences to all the Orton family, and especially Randy and Bob. I know Randy was super close with him as well, so it must hit him really hard.
Yeah, like you said, I think both Randy and Bob, obviously, being Bob's brother, I think they were both incredibly close, weren't they? But no, as I say, we're just to sort of pay our respects in some way, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah, cheers. So the next one is around Kurt Angle. So he obviously has his own podcast. I know, loyalty to ours and stuff. You might not get a chance to listen to some of these, lesser known podcasts.
Yeah, but I mean, he's just started up. He's a cool guy. Have a listen. He's not bad.
It's true. But yeah, so he basically on his show, the topic kind of came up talking around, Paul White moving over to AEW, and he gave some of his thoughts on that. But there was a lot of speculation at the Revolution pay-per-view when they announced that Hall of Fame level signing that it was going to be Kurt Angle, and this kind of got maybe not mentioned as such as it was going to be you, etc. But he was asked around, obviously, with Paul White going there, would he ever consider going to AEW and potentially getting back in the ring for a final match? He's come out and spoken that his retirement match against Baron Corbin that, got massively cut due to the overrun of Batista and Triple H, I think it was. I think they went like 25 minutes, which meant his match got cut to like 5 minutes for his retirement match, which isn't ideal. So he's been asked, would he ever think of going to AEW and having a retirement match there? And he commented and said, what, I don't think so. I spoke to Big Show. I said, congratulations on signing with AEW. But, Big Show came back and was like, oh man, I feel like I'm 25. And Angle's like, holy shit, you're going to wrestle? He didn't answer me and say that he was going to wrestle, but he said he felt like he was 25 again, so you guess that means he's gonna wrestle. He doesn't really know. But so
Oh, it's fucking terrifying, isn't it? Like I don't like to feed the trolls with all that whole AEW's just hiring old guys and that. But like we've got Christian there, Sting, we've got fucking hell, we even had Arn and that like throwing out some moves in the ring in recent weeks. And
well, we had
really
Tully. Tully was in a full blown match.
We had Tully in a full blown match. It's just getting a bit scary. This like. I get it. You feel 25 again, boss. You aren't. So
yeah,
just chill. We like having you around, and we want to keep you around as long as possible.
Well, it's one of them. I'm sure if Paul White ever does get back in the ring, one of the people he said he'd love to work with would be Darby Allin. So I imagine that would be one of your favourite matches ever, because we all know how much you love Darby Allin.
I mean, that could be a quite literal squash match.
It could indeed. But interesting that Kurt hasn't necessarily. All he said was, "I don't think so." And it's like good for Paul White that he feels 25 again. But I don't think so. So,
but I don't.
I feel old as balls. I mean, to be fair to the guy, he can't really move his fucking neck, and he has broken it about 4 times. To be fair to him, so yeah. I think I said when we were talking about who the mystery person might be at Revolution that I didn't want it to be Kurt if it meant he was going to wrestle again.
I don't. So. I think Kurt was awesome in the ring, and his career was awesome. And I don't want to offer any disrespect when I say, but I don't want to see him in the ring again for that very reason. Like you say, he's his neck is Like essentially just fused at this point. Like you say, you can't really move it. But he's been plagued with that sort of injury his whole career. And for me, both of us have always said how, he's got that sort of comic timing, and he's always been good in those sort of like promos. And I really enjoyed him as like the GM as much as a lot of people didn't. I think he was saddled with some shit storylines during that time, but if he went to AEW or he even comes back to WWE, I just want to see him in that sort of authority figure role.
Yeah, definitely. He's so good. He's such a comedic talent as well. And I think to anyone who hasn't seen the 24 like WWE 24 episode with Kurt Angle, I honestly recommend you watch it because it's so good, and to see how he kind of got into the business, how he was just going so hard so fast, and how obviously he couldn't give up his painkiller addiction and stuff like that, and was still pushing himself in TNA to the family man he's become now and stuff like that. I feel like he's got a new lease on life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he is such a fantastic. I loved his Hall of Fame induction. I thought he was so good. He was so witty. He did it for the fans. Fucking popping the milk, had the cowboy hat on. It was just fantastic. So I will always love Kurt Angle, but I would like to see him stay retired, even if his retirement match was awful. I think.
Yeah, I mean, even the retirement match, though, I can respect because he was trying to push younger talent.
Yeah.
He did it in the right way, but like you say, it just wasn't the right time, and it kind of came out of nowhere and was kind of rushed as well, which is a shame. But I'm just looking at like, it doesn't need to be heavy-handed, but like he could have easily, and I really don't get why WWE didn't keep him around in like an Adam Pearce kind of role or like a William Regal kind of role where he just rocks up when he's needed, and he's still got that sort of character about him that you can respect that.
All day, every day, I would have Kurt Angle over Adam fucking Pearce on my TV screen. That's all I'm saying. All day.
Exactly, but he doesn't need to be on screen like constantly. He doesn't need to be in your face, but like it just has that sort of legitimacy. He has that instant respect, and if he's the one coming out booking matches or getting certain things across, then that'd work so well. And I can't believe they didn't keep him around in that sort of that on screen character kind of role. Crazy.
Yeah, mental.
But we're loving your podcast, Kurt, so there's that.
Yeah, really, really good.
Indeed. So, Carl, speaking of really, really good, I don't know, poor segue, but we'll get there. So you might remember back in, I want to say it was March last year, Kylie Rae sort of bowed out of the wrestling world, removed herself from social media, and it seemed like it was retirement done and dusted. Quite recently, we've had a suggestion that not only is she still under contract with Impact, but also that she is scheduled to appear on, I want to call it, is it Warrior Wrestling, an event on the 5th of June this year. So there's a heavy suggestion. Now, whether this is just like because I believe she was holding the title with Warrior Wrestling. So whether it's just like I don't know, maybe a marketing thing or a booking thing, and she's not actually going to make that appearance, or maybe they're hoping to sort of negotiate it and they're just being premature with their advertising, whichever. But it's heavily suggested that we could see a return from her, which would be great because, it was never, and in some ways it's a good thing. It was never really revealed what the issue was, because she showed an event. There was a lot of speculation over like mental health and stuff like that, but rightly so, it was kept private and kept to herself. So we don't truly know what happened then, and that's fine. We shouldn't, but hopefully this is a good sign that we might see her back in the ring. To be fair, so potentially good news.
Yeah, definitely. I really hope so as well. It's horrible to think anything that would make someone just want to quit their vocation, if it was a mental health related issue and stuff. So I hope that she is fully on the mend, and whether she is coming back or whether she's just in a better place, I think, just happy for her. But yeah, hopefully she will make a return to the ring and, push on and yeah, continue doing what she was doing before she took the little bit of a hiatus.
Indeed. So keep your eyes peeled, guys. Even from the 5th of June, you might see her back in the ring.
You might. And speaking of people you might see in the ring, Anthony, so on this past week's episode of AEW Dark, There was a match that took place between Jack Evans and the Dark Order's Preston Vance, aka Number 10. And it's been described as a bad match by the likes of Dave Meltzer. So he said there was a couple of botches that took place, but the biggest potential botch was that Jack Evans went for a Phoenix splash, but he ended up catching Preston Vance in the face with his elbow. And as a result of that, his whole kind of lip got completely sliced open, like really, really badly, and there was just blood absolutely everywhere.
He properly bloodied him up, like.
Yeah, it was nasty. But following that, they immediately pushed right forward to the finish, and I believe Preston has now needed some additional work done to his face and to potentially his teeth as well after the match, which isn't great news. So obviously, firstly, we wish Preston a really speedy recovery. Really great guy, and someone we'd love to have on the show one day as well.
Yeah.
So.
No, he's a really cool guy. He's a great addition to the Dark Order. So
yeah, definitely.
One of the more notable characters in the Dark Order as well. And so, like you say, hopefully we can. He said actually that he's going to be out for any length of time because obviously he's going to have to be stitched or something in it. But I assume it won't be too bad recovery time. Like,
I imagine it'll only be like a couple of weeks. But obviously it's a dangerous one, and obviously not quite a serious injury as well. But they also caught a bit of flack because post-match -1. So obviously Brody Lee Jr. Jumped into the ring as he was planned to do, and obviously did a bit of a fist bump on the bloody hand of Preston Vance. So they said that was. It kind of came across in a bad light and stuff. I believe they ended up editing it out of the broadcast, because it wasn't appropriate to have a young boy kind of fist bumping a guy who's just absolutely covered in blood. So,
it's difficult to know. Like, it's difficult to suddenly change the script, especially he's a young lad, so he's just doing what the plan was. So, you said they'll probably right to edit it out, but it's difficult to sort of change on the fly like that, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but I believe it led to him catching heat backstage with apparently the people that you don't want to have heat with. So whether that's Tony Khan, whether it's all the executives or vice presidents or whatever, people were pretty pissed off by it, and a lot of people are alluding to the fact that he didn't accompany Angelico on his Dynamite appearance. The next night.
So it might be connected, yeah.
Yeah, so interesting one. Maybe he is being punished for that. I don't know what that means for obviously TH2. Whether or not they, it is just a short-term punishment, or whether he's done with the company or what. But
it's unfortunate and it's careless. But you hope it doesn't derail the fella's career too much.
Yeah, definitely.
I understand being punished for mistakes. That's one way of getting them to learn, isn't it? But at the end of the day, accidents will happen in this business, and hopefully he's not sort of punished for it for too long.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Carl, the next one. I want to paraphrase this because I'm not going to read Mr. Bischoff quote for quote here, but Eric Bischoff has been speaking recently on Golberg, and he's been sort of talking about why Golberg is still wrestling in WWE today. And it turns out he's doing it for the money.
Shock.
Yeah.
Horror.
I know. I mean, this proper little nugget of information from an insider is just fantastic. I mean, it turns out Golberg, at the age of 50, whatever he is, isn't there because he loves wrestling. He's there because they're offering him a big old paycheck. I mean,
is it bad that when
shocking?
Is it bad that when you said this proper little nugget, I thought you were referring to Golberg?
But I was thinking then that could be his podcast, a nugget of Goldberg. Anyway, yeah. So Eric Bischoff has said he's there for the money and not for the love of wrestling, which obviously is an event that happens in Liverpool once a year.
Which he is meant to be at as well.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this shocking news. He mentioned a couple of other bits, Carl. He also, he revealed that water is in fact wet, and that the sky is blue, and it all just shocking revelations that have come from Bischoff, and I just don't know how to feel. It's just changed my fucking world. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, really.
I've included it. It's kind of news. He's bitching, but like,
well,
it's kind of not new. I could have told you he was there for the fucking money.
Like, to be fair, when he first came back, it was meant to be, he's never had the opportunity to wrestle in front of his kid, and I found that quite heartwarming, to be fair. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll support you with this. And then he's been coming back and back and back, and he's basically just said, yeah, fuck me kid now, I just want the money. And it's like, well, damn, like I feel bad for ever kind of investing in him in the first place. As a father, it's like, oh yeah, you would like to do that, wouldn't you? But nah, he just about the checks now.
I'm doing it for Abraham and Benjamin. But no, it's I'm not surprised that he's not there for the wrestling. But that being said, I can't knock him. The last time I saw him, he took the L, and it went fine, and I can't complain about the match as short as it was. So I'm going to try and not be too negative about the man.
It still took years off our lives, didn't it? Thinking, not again, not to Drew, and then
I know that's the thing. It was this sort of this thing WWE did to us, where we're like, anything could happen, and you could always argue that's a good thing, but no, it's not a good thing.
No,
not with shit like that.
No, but it was okay because we ended up losing it to the Miz a little bit later, so great.
Yeah. So they still fucking got us.
They still got us.
Anyway, but so that's that one, Carl. Goldberg, like money.
Slight sidebar, and no, that is not a new member of Retribution. But also, while I've got a picture of Eric Bischoff on my screen, massive congratulations to him. He was the second inductee to the WWE Hall of Fame, joining obviously Mighty Molly, Miss Molly Holly herself. But surprising, absolutely deserved.
Well deserved.
Also, absolutely.
Yeah. But it's only surprising, even because like if we hadn't have heard from him in a while and they inducted him, I'd be fine with it. But the fact that they very recently sacked him is like, they just don't like it. Business and the like is just nothing to them, is it? It's like, it's just business. That's why we sacked you. We still want you to be in the Hall of Fame. That's it.
They very recently sacked him,
and
he also very recently showed up on Dynamite twice.
I know, right?
So and it's
I'll give them the due. They are not petty people when it comes to it, because they're still like inducting him,
Yeah,
and I would have, if I had to hedge me bets, I would have said he would be very petty and make a point of not doing it, just based on the AEW appearance alone. But here we are. And well deserved. Massive congratulations, as you say.
Yeah, I thought as well.
I'm going to take the opportunity. Sorry, Carl, but while we're mentioning Hall of Fame, I'm going to take the opportunity to sort of openly declare that they should have an actual Hall of Fame that we can visit. And I'm gonna, every time we mention Hall of Famers, WWE, I'm gonna mention this, because how the fuck have you not got one?
So I believe there was discussions originally to open one up in Universal Studios Orlando, or on City Walk, that should have replaced the former NBA City site. But that got taken over by Toothsome Chocolate Factory, I think it was. So that never came to fruition, unfortunately. But if it happens, it surely should happen in Orlando. The roots of NXT are in there. WrestleMania's there every other fucking year.
They could have it.
And I visit Orlando and I want to go. So put it there,
right,
please.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it could be some sort of annex to the Capitol Wrestling Center. Could be part of the same building.
Exactly.
But look how well, and I know it's not the same, so apologies for the comparison, but look how well things like Hogan's Beach Shop thing go down, because there's that memorabilia there and that sort of stuff that you can see, and like essentially a little museum as well as being a store, and like, I don't know, an actual visitable Hall of Fame where you can see those sort of things and that sort of memorabilia, and just make it happen, WWE. Why is this not a thing? It should have been a thing fucking years ago.
It should have been.
Just wanted to mention that. Yeah. And I'll mention it every fucking time we mention a Hall of Famer.
I think they're probably a little bit scared because they tried. Obviously, they had WWF New York many, many years ago in Times Square, and that just absolutely bombed, didn't it? Eventually, so
I mean,
they're probably a bit worried about
a really fun part of I want to say SmackDown 2. That was one of the backstage areas. So that's how I remember it.
For that reason alone, it was worthwhile. But no, yeah, back to Bischoff. I think it was really. It was heartwarming seeing the announcement where it got revealed to him, and he kind of it took him by absolute surprise, and he got a bit emotional as well. So yeah, just big congrats to Eric. Whether
definitely, mate, absolutely well deserved.
Yeah,
what a legend. And we and I think Carl, you mentioned it the other day on social media, but we will never forget you hoodwinking everyone, and it turned out that you were the priest for Billy and Chuck's wedding. No one saw that coming.
That is just
who says
deserving
they
alone.
Did. The acting on that was amazing because I did not see that coming at all. No one did. No one did. I don't care. I don't care if you reckon you did. No one did. Yeah, YouTube it, guys, is boss.
It was boss. So fair play to Mr. Bischoff. And the next one we want to talk about is around Charley Caruso. So she also reportedly has a bit of backstage heat going on. A lot of backstage heat in all the companies. But yeah, it's been noted that she's been absent from WWE TV recently, basically because she's picked up a bit of heat with people backstage, and also due to being consistently late to actually conduct interviews at Raw tapings. So I believe what they do is, even though Raw is live, if they have like a interview segment where possible, they will record it ahead of time. Obviously to make sure they don't flub the lines, etc., etc. So the talent would be showing up at the scheduled time, and she would actually show up late, which has obviously rubbed a few people the wrong way. But it's now being reported that garnered her with a little bit of heat, and it's now been determined she's going to just sit out the rest of her contract. So it looks like they're not going to be picking it back up, and she will just see her contract run out and then leave the company. It was also brought up on Talking Smack this week by Paul Heyman, who, in a way to insult Kayla Braxton, was like, it looks like WWE have fired the wrong backstage interviewer or something like that.
Oh.
So,
I'll say that about Kayla.
Exactly. So, yeah, so interesting one really, because I did quite like Charley Caruso. I thought some of the stuff Aaron Garza did, and stuff backstage and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I thought she was always pretty good. But yeah, if she's showing up late and making the talent wait, that isn't ideal, is it? So yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing though, Charlie, if you're listening, and you probably are. You're sitting out your contract, so you're at home, you're hopefully doing nothing. You want to be on this show, we don't mind if you turn up late. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, so Charley Caruso potentially done with WWE.
Yeah, due to bad timekeeping, apparently.
Bad timekeeping.
Don't mess with Vince. So the next one, Carl, is probably the most British thing we've ever put on this show.
Well, I don't know. Paige and Coronation Street might be up there, but this one might just edge it out, mightn't
it? Hear me out here, Carl. So, for those of you, and I'll keep it brief because I know from our statistics that most of our audience are American. Well, all over the world, in fact, but surprisingly low percentage of British anyway. But firstly, a lot of you will probably know Suzanna because she hosts a breakfast news type show alongside Piers Morgan, who's caught himself a fair bit of heat quite recently. So a lot of people will at least recognise the post as Suzanna Reid. So we have, and I assume you have it over in the States, we have a reality show where, and I shit you not if you've never heard of it, we have a reality show called Gogglebox in which we watch people watching TV because fuck it, why not? And Suzanna Reid was recently on this show alongside, apologies if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but Judge Rinder, not one I'm familiar with, but another TV judge. I think Judge Judy, but male. Anyway, this caught the attention of one Carol Vordeman, who, again, I'll have to briefly explain. Carol Vordeman being a mathematician on a quiz show called Countdown for years, who is good friends with the judge, and took some umbrage to not being on Gogglebox. I shit you not. This is like an actual thing. So, in a playful bit of back and forth between one Suzanna Reid and Carol Vordeman, Carol Vordeman has vowed to mud wrestle Suzanna Reid in some sort of like almost paying homage to a fantasy script written by a teenager who's sat at home watching daytime TV quite a lot. She's vowed to mud wrestle Suzanna Reid as soon as the lockdown is over. So that's why it's here, because she said the word wrestling. What do you think of this fucking batshit crazy kind of thing?
I mean, I expect nothing less from anyone associated with British daytime or evening TV, to be fair. I also wonder, you might be able to shed some light on this. Has this happened already? Have the people who star in Gogglebox been part of a series where they watch themselves on Gogglebox, and therefore it's people watching people?
Watching people.
Whoa.
I mean, that I think is a little almost too meta, so I don't think they've done it yet. But
I mean,
that's
money. That's money right there.
That's money. And believe it or not, this was the celebrity version of Gogglebox. This is the more the juicier one. You got celebs watching TV.
Wow. I didn't know they did such things.
It's crazy. Yeah. So, you know, I'm giving it such shit, and we're like, the next thing we've got coming up is like, watch us watching WrestleMania live.
Yeah. Please do that. Please do that.
Yeah, please join us.
Join us for that, especially if you've entered our giveaway, because you might win the t-shirt that is up for grabs. A t-shirt of your choice, in fact. And if you haven't, enter it now, and then join us as we watch. You watch us, watch that. Yeah.
Go on. Get
okay.
On to Instagram and do it. We'll wait.
Okay. Faster, damn it. Okay. Right, too slow.
Yeah, so I just had to mention that one because I read it. It made me chuckle. And it was kind of wrestling related and kind of British, so I thought, well, fuck it, we'll mention it because it's good fun.
I mean, it just about scrapes the eligibility criteria, but we'll allow it.
Why just not? About hit the eligibility, just definitely.
About. And speaking about so the next one to talk about is the former WWE superstar Chris Masters, now known as Chris Adonis. He's had an interview recently where he wants to be known as more than just a body guy. Now, anyone who remembers Chris Adonis when he was Chris Masters in WWE, his whole kind of persona was he would look at himself in the mirror, admire his muscles, but he'd also put people in a full Nelson that he called the Master Lock. In fact, now, little throwback.
I don't think you've done the gimmick justice because it was a fully fleshed out gimmick for me. You know, I loved the arsehole character he was. The music was right. Do you know what I mean? That self-involved, egotistical kind of character I thought worked really well. And then obviously we had the Master Lock Challenge, which just added to his whole ego thing.
Well, you would think it worked really well because, you know, if essentially describing yourself, you're egotistical. Not true.
I mean, you're not wrong. I've got a mirror just over here.
Oh yeah, look at that sexy bastard. I mean, every time we do these things, I just spend all my time looking at myself in the webcam, just like, oh hey you, how you doing? Oh hey.
I'm completely surprised, Anna.
But no, yeah, you're right. I probably undersold him. I thought he was fantastic in WWE. So much so, in fact, that in our college years, I'm pretty sure our friend Miles won't mind us giving him a shout out. Is we even had a version of the Master Lock Challenge in our college. Where Miles would put everybody in the Master Lock and nobody could break the damn thing. So
I'm sure Miles would agree that we were all super cool in college.
Yeah. Everyone. And clearly we've only gotten cooler with age, as you can all see, know and love. But yeah, anyway, back to Chris Adonis. He has basically been given an interview. He's been speaking with Metro in the UK, and he said, you know what, I'm sick and tired of all the criticism in terms of just being a body guy who couldn't work and being compared to the likes of Lex Luger. I've got nothing against Lex, by the way, but I'm tired of that.
I mean, like just proper backhanded comment and say, I'm nothing against Lex.
I mean, to be fair, Lex is a fucking twat, so yeah, you've got every right to be against him. But anyway, that's a topic for another. In the ring.
I don't know much about Lex. Maybe we should talk about Lex.
Oh my god! Well.
I know he didn't like Superman all too much, did he?
But... Different Lex.
Shit.
Let's just say, I truly believe if it wasn't for Lex Luger, Miss Elizabeth would still be with us today. So there you go.
Okay, this sounds like a very tough topic to talk about, but
yeah.
We might talk about that off air.
Yeah, maybe off air, just to not get sued. But yeah, anyway, so he loves Lex. We all love Lex. Sorry, Lex. But yeah, so he has basically said he's sick and tired of being compared, just called a body guy and compared to, the likes of Lex Luger. He said, I'm tired of all that. I'm a lifelong fan. I'm somebody who grew up loving the likes of Bret Hart, Kurt Hennig, Shawn Michaels, all these really great workers.
Fucking hell. Chris Masters has just won you over, hasn't he?
Well, he did until he said Shawn Michaels, but yeah. But yeah, he appreciates good workers, to say the least. Even though he did admit that he was brought up watching Ultimate Warrior, so make of that what you will. But yeah, so he doesn't want to be known as the type of worker who can't do much in the ring, but is just a body. So he's now started spending most of his time really analysing his matches and picking them apart and trying to see how he can improve and do things better in the ring. So fair play to the guy, and you'll have to forgive me because I believe this has happened already, and I don't know what the outcome was, but I know he recently was fighting against a former WWE alum as well in Trevor Murdoch at NWA's pay-per-view that happened last night as well. So
they're back, baby.
NWA are back, baby. I've always loved Chris Adonis. I think he's a really good character. He's always seemed like a really nice guy. He seems like a cool motherfucker as well. Hangs out with Carlito and Shelton Benjamin and the like just on a daily basis. So yeah, mad props to the
Chris,
guy.
If you ever fancy being on the show, so we can talk about the fact that you're not just a body guy. I mean, we're definitely up for that.
Definitely. I mean,
you can turn up late if you want. Just say what I put to Charlie.
That's it.
I don't care.
And you're speaking to the Metro, which is UK based. Come on our show and we'll get Carol Vordeman and honestly, the other one to mud wrestle with you or something.
I'm hoping you're not too familiar with the British tabloids and I can get away with this, but we're not. We're pretty much the same as the Metro in terms of scale. So
I mean, pretty much. People can access it everywhere and they just choose not to. So I think we're pretty much on par there.
Available everywhere. Chosen by me.
That's a t-shirt. But yeah, so fair play to Chris for obviously trying to break the mold of that and doesn't want to be known as just that body guy anymore. And he is really trying to showcase his talent in the ring and improve all the time. And what more can you want from anybody? I feel like he got a really poor end to his run in WWE. I thought he could have been a really big talent. So yeah, hopefully he is doing really well with NWA, and hopefully he just continues to improve. And I'm gonna have to try and check out some of his stuff because I haven't seen him in a little bit.
And also, try and get him on the show.
And that too.
That too. Sorry, and it's a slight digression, but it just comes to my mind. We haven't seen Carlito since the Rumble, have we?
Yeah, we saw him on Raw.
Oh, sorry, it was the Raw after.
But it might have been on 2 Raws. I want to say 2.
He's not back though, is he? We haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. I feel like we've not seen him in a couple of weeks.
I think the rumor at the time was he had that match or the matches. I can't remember if it was just the one after the Rumble to try out for a trainer position. So I don't think he was ever planning to come back permanently. I think he was more hoping to do something with NXT or something. But yeah, it's a great thing for NXT,
but you want to see him in the ring again.
He hadn't missed a fucking beat. He was jacked as fuck. Like honestly, he was relevant still in today's product. A lot more relevant than some of the fuckers that got in there.
We were kind of robbed of his run in WWE at the time as well. Left too early for obvious reasons, but he left too early. Sadly,
bring him back, damn it! But yeah.
Man, he spits in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Except for
really,
COVID
really
times.
Good thing to do, yeah.
Because that's not allowed anymore.
Yeah. So, right. So the next one, Carl. I've got some fucking moaning to do here, and I'm going to sound like a slight hypocrite as well because some of the comments I've made in the past would suggest that I might agree with Mr. T. Mr. Booker T, that is obviously.
Mr. T. I pity the fool, damn it.
I do not pity this fool. So Booker T has very recently been speaking about it's come on the back of one Christian Cage. We have to throw the Cage in now because he's not with WWE. One Christian Cage being part of AEW, and for whatever reason Booker T has been talking about it, and he's basically suggesting that right now it seems like AEW are pulling a revamp of WCW. And he's talking about the fact that they're signing veteran talent, that they're sort of past their better years of their careers and so on. And the first thing I need to moan about is when, and I don't know how you'll feel about this, and this might be a polarizing comment, but why is it an insult to be referred to as WCW? Right, they ended badly, right? But I don't feel like WCW gets the respect it deserves for being like the biggest rival WWE ever had, to the point that Vince had to buy them out. You know, we always look at those sort of questionable, poorly managed years towards the end. And yeah, they were probably going to go downhill. But the comparison's always made, like WWE, WCW were always a bad company and you never want to emulate them. But like, I don't know, it just seems like too much of a general thing to be like, oh, you just like WCW 2.0 and stuff. And it's like, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, depending on what era of WCW we're talking about, surely.
What comparisons was he making? Do you know what I mean? Like, what exactly was it that is going to make them WCW 2.0? Because I hear this a lot, and part of me is just like, well, like, how? Because they're signing ex-WWE talent. Like, yeah, WCW did do that a little bit, but they didn't sign, has-beens. It was
the thing that kind of annoys me, though, because it's like, like WCW created NWO on the back of ex-WWE talent. NWO are so fucking big, we still talk about them to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They actually pulled one of the best character work and the best characters for Hulk Hogan, because I think he was much better as a heel in the NWO than he ever was as the all-American super fucking man that can't be beaten. And I just really don't get why it's now this new thing to like almost use the WCW comment as an insult to say, well, oh, that's where they're going. It's like, well, good. As long as they don't end the same fucking way, I'm totally fine with it. Now, I do worry about them hiring older talent, and that is purely because of the older element, not because like I don't have an issue, right, with the fact that like you look at people like FTR is a prime example, right? You can't look at that and go, oh, they're just buying WWE guys. It's like, well, they should have bought those guys. They're fucking awesome, and they've had a really good run in AEW. They're talented guys who are in the business of wrestling, and sadly, most of the people who are in the business of wrestling are either heading to WWE or coming from WWE, because WWE are the biggest in the biz. So there's always going to be that connection there. You'll always be able to look at stars in AEW and go, oh yeah, they were in WWE, this, that, and the next thing. And now, to me, it just really depends how they use them. Like, I am a little bit dubious about Christian. Yeah, I am. In terms of matches in the ring, and that will be seen to be believed. He might have more in him, but if it's not like the Big Show's come along and gone, I'm having a match, which again, there's always that fear, but it's how you use them. So far, they haven't used Sting too bad, other than going, well, Sting speaks this week, Sting speaks this week. They haven't like thrown him into a load of matches and made it look dangerous or scary, or made him the whole focal point. The whole idea was to get Darby Allin over, whether it's been executed well or not. But most of this news article, really, Carl, is just me moaning about Booker T, because I just don't get, like, it's like, for starters, you came from WCW, and I don't think it's a fair comment to make. Like, or I don't think it's probably a fair comparison, but to make it sound like such a negative, I think is a bit unfair. Is probably what I'm getting at.
Okay. I think you're right. Like, a lot of people seem to think the way they ended is what defines them, but a lot of people forget that they kicked the WWE's ass for many, many weeks. What was it, 93 weeks or something? 83 weeks, sorry. Is the, that's Bischoff's podcast, isn't it? 83 weeks. So, that's a fucking that's over a year, you know what I mean? Like nearly 2 years of dominance there. So, a comparison to that, they're not comparing them to TNA. They're not comparing them to Ring of Honor. They're comparing them to WCW, which is fine, but I wouldn't do it negatively, because, as you say, they were the biggest threat that WWE have ever seen, really. So
yeah, well, they have been, and I don't know if they'll ever be beaten, but they've been their biggest rival. And let's face it, WWE haven't been making money out of them ever since, because they've got all the old WCW content. They signed a lot of the older wrestlers, and it's funny how and I get it because they are the giants, but WWE can sign a ton of older talent, like from WCW, because they bought them out, and it's not a problem. There's no moaning, going, oh, well, you're just hiring these guys for the nose of it. Like, let's face it, Scott Steiner wasn't exactly in his prime when the invasion happened, but they still fucking did it. Why? Because he's a fucking big name.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Either way, a lot of people are expecting AEW to fail at the moment for some reason, and I really don't. I don't get it. I think rivalry is a good thing. Why not have this really good alternative? They've just put on what, and we'll talk about it more, but they've just put on what I think we both agree is going to be the match of the year for us. potentially at this point, and a fantastic match for women's wrestling. But we have to look at them negatively and go like, it's a dying company, it's going to die soon. Like, why? What's the point?
I honestly don't get where all this hate's come from. I think we've all been open to the fact that it hasn't been as good as what it was, but that doesn't mean it's a bad show. And it's certainly no worse than what most of WWE puts out either. So,
yeah, exactly. And crazy. If they need to course correct, that's fine. And we've seen WWE do it over the years where they've not been at their best and then they've improved. That's just how it works. That's how the business works.
And I think as well, something which people forget a lot over the last kind of year and a half, it must be so hard to react, to the fans when there's no fucking fans. Imagine watching wrestling with fans in attendance. Like, I'm part of the reason I'm so hype for Mania is because there's going to be fucking fans there, and I hope we can
all
hear
know
them
it's going to be
and they're present and visible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, because I've every now and again I go back and watch like early Dynamite snippets and stuff, and the fans make that show because they are super fans. They are so involved in it. And if any business, any wrestling company has missed the fans the most, I think it's AEW, because you had this revolution of people who were tired of WWE and they wanted this alternative. And people are going, AEW promised this, anti-WWE alternative product, and it's just the same as WWE. And maybe it isn't as different as they set out to be. But if the fans aren't kind of telling them, what can you do?
Trouble is, I think they were guilty of making some stupid comments, and people love to bring it back, like talking about this real sports feel. Doesn't have that, right? And talking about the stats, right? And then they just completely ignore them and put Christian in the main event. Yeah, they've totally abandoned that too. And maybe they shouldn't have made a big deal out of it when they were promoting themselves, but it was something they were trying, and obviously they believed it at the time. And it's one of them, doesn't work out, and wrestling falls into that format that works. Who would have thought it? But yeah, anyway, sorry, I went into a slightly different rant. But Booker T thinks AEW are the new WCW. So there you go.
Interesting. I'd love to know exactly what it is that he makes him think that, and why he's got like a negative connotation to it. But you do you, Booker. You do you.
Well, he did. If it helps, he did reference the fact that like WWF guys coming to WCW at the time. Obviously, he was there. They were coming for a paycheck. So I think he's trying to almost suggest that the sort of the mentality behind the likes of Christian and Big Show. Mally didn't say it overtly. I think he's almost trying to suggest that they've gone there because Tony Khan's offered them a big paycheck and they're not, there's no passion there or whatever. And that is, it's not something he's said out and out, but it just, they're kind of hinting at, let's say, which I so far I disagree with.
Yeah,
WWE weren't trying to get rid of Christian. He could have stayed there and carried on making probably equal or more money, in all fairness.
Yeah, I feel like they aren't going there just for the paycheck. If anything, they're going there to have more of a stamp on the future of the wrestling business, because in WWE, they've already got that all laid out. It's like, yeah, cool, you might know what you're doing, but we've got trainers and we've got the performance center and we've got this, that, and the other. Whereas, you've got Big Show can go there and lend some stuff and also try his hand at commentary, which you wouldn't be able to do. You've got Christian who can go there and use his, wrestling brain to be able to help people understand psychology.
That's a real fair point. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing when I say it like this, but maybe they're going there just to have some fucking fun. Because I feel like WWE, and not in a bad way, it's not a bad thing, but WWE is so controlled and the machine is so sort of well-oiled that you can't just have a bit of fun with it. Like you say, it wouldn't be realistic. They would not have a Big Show on commentary. They wouldn't bother. They wouldn't do it because they're busy with Corey Graves and Michael Cole. So yeah, maybe they're going there because there's more opportunity to do something a bit different and a bit fun. It's not necessarily about the paycheck, but hey ho, it is what it is.
That is,
and that was the last one, Carl. That was the Ringside Report.
It was, and we'll be back with some more segments for you right after this.
You're watching or listening
to A to the K.
The A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K.
These guys are awesome. Check it out.
Check it out. Change your life. You'll be thanking me later.